well. Many more apparently suffer in silence.
Helen Cruickshank has self-harmed for 10 years. She says she's addicted to cutting herself, and now she's hoping terrible experiences that she's been through will warn others of the dangers of doing this. She's here this morning together with psychologist Linda Papadopoulos. Good to see you, Helen. You know, I do understand indulgences, I can understand addictions, but I have to say, I don't get where you're coming from with pain. I don't understand this one.
I would say that I wasn't more addicted to the pain. I was more addicted to seeing the blood. And it's always been like a sort of cleansing thing for me, like to see the blood coming out.
We're talking seriously. I mean, your arm
yeah.
there. I mean, we're not just talking little nicks and things. We're talking about, I mean, how would you describe that? I mean, that is severe.
Well, I've had corrective surgery, general surgery, 5 times. So I've had to have muscles and tendons.
That was part of it for you as well,
just explain, you say the blood there. Just explain that to me. Say you're addicted to the blood. Okay, so you make a cut, you make an incision like that.
Yeah.
And then you see this blood. So what, are you in a state of peace then? Are you in a state of almost happiness as opposed to panic?
You're sort of all keyed up at first, and then you cut and you see the blood, and it's like a release. And it is like calm.
Do you feel pain when you're doing it?
I do feel pain, and there is some people who self-harm who don't feel pain, and I don't like feeling the pain for some reason.
Because you said as well, you know, you've had to have surgery 5 times, because part of it for you as well is actually you enjoy the fact of the cut being very precise and actually getting right down to the tendon.
Why are you just stuck on the doctor?
I don't know.
You sort of a butcher or something else.
Yeah. I did ask for a fake arm. If they gave me a fake arm,
would that help?
I don't know. It might.
Yeah, but see, when everybody else is running around panicking, I mean, presumably people discover you and they see all this terrible blood around the place, and you relax. Do you get to the point where you say, right, that's good, I see the blood, but now I've got to do something about this? Do you want to kill yourself, or is it just you just want to see the blood and then you say, okay, that's the fact?
It's definitely not a suicide attempt. It is a coping mechanism, and once I've cut and seen the blood, yeah, I think, right, I have to go to hospital and get it patched up.
And it doesn't seem to be always something majorly that has gone wrong in your life. I mean, you have had some difficult things, I know, which you don't want to talk about. But it could be just something like a bad day at work.
Yeah.
Where we might come home and have a glass of wine too many, or so it's not a major thing always, is it?
It doesn't have to be a huge event or something. Sometimes it's just feelings and emotions. But my emotions go up and down quite a lot, so you know it takes a lot to do that.
Linda has been sitting listening to this, and she understands obviously a lot about this. Who does this? Why do they do it? How many people do it out there?
A lot more than you think. More women than men. Usually starts during adolescence, and it's not so much about getting pain as it is about releasing emotional pain. A lot of the way that people describe it, I don't know if you would say this, is about, it's almost like popping a balloon. Sort of, you kind of feel that pent-up anger, pressure, and when you describe sort of the blood going, it's almost, I think different people get different things. Some people, it really is about feeling. Some people feel so numb because what they've gone through emotionally. And don't forget, a lot of times it is instigated by something quite serious. This is following, there's comorbidities, which means it happens with things like anorexia, bulimia, following an attack, a rape, for example, following a very severe emotional letdown by a parent, so just feeling you can't hear me, feeling not heard. And I think this is what strikes me as very interesting, because it happens during adolescence when so many kids just don't feel understood, and we know it's on the increase. And this is a way of sort of feeling something that you can't feel. And I think, you know, when I hear him say, I don't get it, I think most of us don't get it. Because, I mean, it's all about self-preservation, isn't it?
What about you know, people often say, well, it's just attention seeking. You know, Helen's actually said, no, I'm not trying to commit suicide. But people say, yes, but you're almost going, oh, but I could, and it's a big attention seeking.
That's one of the big myths, because most people that self-harm actually do it, and they're very secretive about it. They'll often, and I would say for parents out there who fear this, look out for sort of their children hiding their arms during the summer. Look out for long periods in their rooms by themselves. It almost becomes ritualistic as well. They sort of with this behavior where, you know, I keep the razor in a certain place, and I almost get a release by kind of locking the door and getting the box out.
Do you know when you're going to do that, Helen? Does it just take you? I mean, you've got to hold down a job. When was the last time you actually harmed yourself?
It was February. I sometimes it's planned, and it can be plan for days and days, and I'll be fighting it for days. Other times it's really impulsive, and I'll just go and do it straight away because I'm just so out of control.
Ruth was saying that, some of the reasons maybe behind it. What do you think? I mean, you must be aware, for whatever reason you're doing this, you must be aware of what other people are thinking about you. And I mean, they'll be thinking, Helen, she's off her trolley. She is. Does that annoy you? Does that not matter, what people think of you?
Yeah, deep down it does matter what people think of me. But it's my way of coping. And like you said, like, she might go home after a bad day and have a glass of wine. And that's socially, and that's socially acceptable. But, it's so hard for somebody you can't understand why someone can cut their own skin.
I'll tell you this. I only this year, somebody I have worked with for a long time on television confessed to me that they did it, and they showed me their mask. And again, this was a girl, as Linda said. I was absolutely amazed. No indication of this at all as to they do. So, the people out there, and obviously this is a surprise, there are lots of people like that who we all don't know about who hide this. I mean, you don't hide what you're doing.
I did, but I don't anymore. But I did.
What would you say to somebody who are finding they're doing this, or it's in someone's family? What would you say?
I think if it's just started, I think early intervention is really the most important thing. I also would say don't be afraid to confide in somebody that you trust, whether it be a relative or a nurse or a teacher. And I really do believe that you've got to deal with underlying issues and why you're self-harming in the first place. Because you don't, you don't, nobody harms themselves like that unless there's something.
Who is out there, Linda? Who's out there for you?
There's therapists out there, psychologists, there's doctors. We know the kind of therapies that work, and I think Helen makes a really important point. Self-harm is a symptom of something else. It's a coping mechanism, yeah? And it's a dysfunctional coping mechanism. So you need to go somewhere you can figure out what's happened. Is it abuse? Is it a self-hatred for whatever reason? Is it an addictive personality? What's happening there? And then you build on that. But absolutely get help. I would say first instance, go to your GP if you haven't, disclose it to them. There's societies out there that can help. I'm sure you'll find people to put on the website.
It's great to hear that you haven't self-harmed since February, so long may it continue.
Yeah.
Thank